What's up, guys? This is the second video in the fishing tips live scope series. It will probably be the last video. I could do a third video, but I don't know if I want to give away all the little secrets that I know. But without further ado, guys, let's get into it. Okay, so this one is going to be over baits, and there's a lot of baits that work on scope, but it's all very situational. It all depends on what water column the fish are in, etc, etc, etc. If you're targeting brush on live scope, if you're targeting trees on live scope. But generally, it just depends on the lake you're fishing. If you're fishing a clear lake, the fish, they could be anywhere. They'll be out in the middle of the lake. They'll be in the middle of pockets, drains. Literally, they could be anywhere. So just drop your trolling motor down and just look everywhere. But I will say this, one of these baits is more of an honorable mention, so we'll just kind of hit that one first, and that is a glide bait. This is a 6 cents flow glider. I have modified it a little bit. Out of the package, this bait is not ready. I'll go ahead and tell you that. It is not ready to catch bass out of the package. You can probably catch bass out of the package with it, but it doesn't run right. So what you have to do is you have to take a Dremel tool and cut off part of this front part right here, because what will happen is when it's trying to go to the side, it can't fully go to the side. So the bait will sometimes get stuck and just kind of do this number and then just kind of through the water instead of doing the S motion, and it hurts. It's not good. You don't want that. What else was I gonna say about this bait? This bait, I've caught a few fish on it. I've caught one almost 5 pounds on it, but where I live, there's not a very large population of bigger bass that are gonna eat this. So that's what makes it tough. If I'm at a lake where there's a bunch of 5-pounders, there's a chance that I might throw this all day, just because the bites you get on this thing are gonna be 2.5 plus pound bites every time. But I like only throwing it on clear lakes. I feel like if you throw it in muddy water, unless it's over a brush pile, you're defeating the whole purpose of this bait. And you won't have the drawing power, which is the main thing that this bait has. It's drawing power. Thrown on a clear lake, every fish in the lake comes up, looks at it at least. You get to know what's there, or you get a big giant bite. Alright, so this one is going to be my bread and butter on live scope. If these fish in a body of water are in a depth zone that I can get this bait right in front of them, they're going to munch it. If you're fishing a clear lake, you can generally get them to come up 5 foot for this bait, but that bait is a jerk bait. And this one is the one I've had the most success on, and it is a Strike King Sexy Shad, I think. Yeah. The Strike King jerk baits are generally the ones that I throw. I just feel like they get bit a lot more. But I will also pair them up with bait pop. This stuff, I was kind of skeptical about it at first. I don't know if it helps with the sonar intensifier part, but it most definitely helps with scent. And scent, that's pretty important, actually. To get these fish that are out here, they're pressured. Not all of them have, seen a bait with bait pop, and generally it helps them munch it. Now this other one has gotten some play too. Not as much. It's colored that I just kind of bought because it was similar to Sexy Shad. But they'll munch on this too. Now, at a lake where I needed to get a little bit deeper, just a little bit, they munched this one. This is a 6 cents Provoke. You can see the blue sparkles from the bait pop that I used last time. They were eating it pretty good. I think we had like 12 pounds on our best 5, which is all right. And lastly, I have more in my tackle box. I've not had very much success with the rest of them, unfortunately. I have a lot of just sitting in there, wasting space. But this is a Rick Clunn jerkbait. I forgot who makes it. There was a boat show. They were on sale for like $2 to $3. so I had to get them. But April, I had a tournament on Cumberland, caught them on it okay. It was the only jerkbait I could get bit on in my box. In hindsight, should have been largemouth fishing on the bed, but that's 2020, obviously. Okay, so this one is obviously one that I'm sure a lot of people that clicked on this video were waiting for, and that is a jighead minnow. And I've tried a whole lot of different hooks. A lot of them I didn't like. A lot of them I did not like. But this one, I'll tell you what I like about it, what I don't like about it. So I love this ball head. I don't know, it just seems like it gets a bit more, I don't know. It doesn't make sense, but I really like the ball head. But unfortunately, this hook on this thing is absolute junk. This is a Yum forward-facing minnow hook. The hook's just absolutely awful. I've had so many fish just bend that sucker right up. Caught a 4-pound, like 3.5 on it. It bent the hook pretty much straight out. I don't know how it even landed the fish. This one, I've had a lot of success on. It's got a really strong hook, but I don't know how I feel about the jaw in front of it. I think it's a first gen fishing one. I think that's the company that makes it. But it's called a jaw dropper, I believe. It's done okay. I don't like this. I don't know what it is. It's just me personally, I don't like this. It kind of gives it a soft jerkbait action, which is good, but I'm just not sure if it's something that I want for the fish that are down there. It's something they haven't seen, but I think it's just a little too much action and it hurts your chances of catching that fish. This honestly is one of the most popular ones. It is a Smeltonator. I forgot who makes it. It's what Gussie won the Classic on, and whenever they went to the Tennessee River. I don't even remember. I think it was 2022. Maybe it was 2023. It was 2023. Yeah, I like it. It's got a Gamakatsu hook in it. I really like that. I don't like this hook keeper, or this bait keeper. It's not my favorite, but using like the Z-Man soft plastics, Elastec, you can put some glue right there and that sucker is not coming off. But this is probably the one I'm going to start using from now on, unless I'm throwing the minnows that I have been using and not Elastec. This one I have not used, but I like it. I like everything about it. I don't know how I feel about the bend in the hook. It's probably fine. I really wish it was more like the Yum one. I like that, but apparently it just doesn't help the hook be very strong. I like the keeper on it. I like the eye. I forgot who makes it. It was one random one I bought off Tackle Warehouse because I saw it had a Gamakatsu hook in it. But I like it overall. Have not caught a bass on it, don't get me wrong, but I like everything about it. Strong hook, good keeper. I like the head on it. So these are the baits that I've had the most success on, jighead minnow wise. And the first one is, all I use pretty much is Yum sonar minnows. They're cheap, they're effective. It's what I use. This one is, I think, the JC Natural. I think that's what they call it. I've had some success on it, not a whole lot. I don't throw it very much anymore. It seems like I get a whole lot more followers than I do fish that commit on it. So, get rid of it, throw it out. This one, I've had good success on it at lakes that aren't clear, or as clear. When I'm talking about a clear lake, I'm talking about like Lake Cumberland. You could see like 6 foot down. This one, I don't know, seems like 2 to 3 water foot visibility. Fish munch on this one. This one is what I catch them on at Cumberland. I don't know what it's called. Don't ask me. They just bite it. Most of the fish that I see, they bite it. Alright, just going to quickly transition into what I'm looking for, really, on fish. How I know if I need to make a second cast at that fish or not, if they're going to bite whatsoever. Basically stuff that the pros do not tell you. So if I'm seeing a fish and I bring my bait across that fish and it comes flying up, but doesn't bite it, and then stops following it at a certain point. I'm casting at the fish again. That fish is probably gonna bite. That fish is in the mood to bite. I don't know why it didn't bite the first time, but that fish is gonna bite. But most of the time on livescope, if I can get away with it, I'm throwing a jerk bait. I can cast that, I can get it down to that fish a whole lot quicker than I can get a jighead minnow down to that fish. And when you're on live scoping, you want to be able to get your bait across as many different fish as possible so you can find the ones that are in the mood to bite. Effectively, that's what you're doing when you're fishing the bank, because there's a lot of fish on the bank, just not all of them are biting. So you're just casting at as many fish as possible during a day and hoping that they'll bite. The only difference with live scope is you're actually looking at those fish and you're knowing whether or not they're biting, and it can get frustrating. But if they're just kind of lazy following it, jerk baits are going to work better too, because you can change your cadence and then eventually that fish is going to just munch it. So overall, the best live scope bait is a jerk bait, hands down. It's so versatile, and yes, you can throw a sinking one, but at the same time, just throw a jighead minnow at that point. I don't know why, it just seems like they bite at better fish that are 15 plus foot down all the way out to 40. And I'm trying to think of what else pros don't discuss. There's a lot that they don't tell you, but it's just, a lot of it you can't really learn unless you just go out there and do it yourself. I've been live scoping for a good minute, and knowing the personalities of fish and how they react is something that is just really, really hard to do. And whether or not those fish are going to bite based on the way they're set up and based on the way they're moving. If you see a fish that's roaming around out there and you can get your bait in front of them, they're probably going to bite because they're roaming around looking for bait. If you see a fish just kind of chilling out there, unless that fish is on the bottom, that fish is probably not going to bite. I don't know what it is. They're just, when they're not moving, they're just chilling there and they don't want to bite. But I think that's it for stuff that pros don't really tell you that I know. Obviously, there's stuff that I don't know that pros don't tell you because I'm not a pro and I'm not in that circle. And a lot of what helps the pros actually is the fact that they get baits early released and the fish haven't seen those baits. I know that Taku Ito won, did they go to Lanier or Smith? I think it was Lanier. I don't know. The spotted bass fishery this year, I think it was Lanier. I really think it was Lanier. I don't know. I haven't kept up with it very much this year, as much as I normally do. But he won it on dice. And if you don't know what dice is, look it up on Tackle Warehouse. It's probably sold out right now. But it's a Japanese bait that's like a cube, and it's got like little tentacles coming out of it. Imagine a sea urchin, and then that's what dice is. But that's what he won it on, because, I mean, who's throwing a dice? I know I'm not. I've not seen many people throw a dice. It's all about getting fish something a little bit different look, because they've seen so many baits. They're so educated nowadays, especially with forward-facing sonar. You're not going to find very many offshore schools that haven't been thrown at, just because literally your entire lake's been grabbed at least once in the summertime by someone. Someone has found that school that you're fishing. Whether or not those fish bite or not, well, that depends on how much pressure they've gotten as a whole, but I guarantee you are throwing a bait that's already been seen by those fish. Alright guys, I'm going to end this one here. I really can't thank you enough for all the support on the channel. The Lord has really just blessed me with being able to do this, and it makes me really, really happy that I can put out these videos. I don't know, I really enjoy it. I would love to do it more, but I obviously can only fit time in my schedule for 1 or 2 videos a week, which is unfortunate because I really wish I could make one every single day, but especially with fishing, I don't really film my home lake very much, just because obviously I don't want to give away my sneaky stuff before high school tournaments. When a high school tournament comes, I will most definitely be filming that, but I don't want to give away too much of my sneaky stuff, because there's only a couple things on my home pond that are like good. The rest of it is pretty much 50-50 whether or not you're going to catch a keeper there. But there are a couple places where you can just go and probably catch a keeper just about every time. But I will see you guys in the next one. I don't know what it'll be. I'd love for it to be fishing, but it might be another tackle tip video. Worst comes to worst, I might just go to a farm pond and reel on a couple, because I've not been winning very many tournaments this year, unfortunately. But I will catch you guys then.